You live near some great examples of constructive and destructive forces in nature. If you construct something, you're building it up. If you destroy something, well, then you're being destructive. Today we're going to learn a little bit about the beach and where you can see these properties. But first, let's learn some vocabulary.
Hi, remember me? I'm Donna, your 4-H lady, and today I'm with my friend.
I'm Savannah. I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences educator.
And I am going to teach Savannah a fun song about erosion and weathering.
This rocks.
Ready to repeat after me? And all of you out there in the audience, stand up. No, really. Get out of your chairs and stand up. All right.
All right, 4-Hers, get on your feet. This dance is for everyone.
Weathering breaks it.
Weathering breaks it.
Erosion takes it.
Erosion takes it.
When the process stops,
When the process stops,
deposition drops.
deposition drops.
All these things happen to a rock.
All these things happen to a rock.
Okay, now we're just going to do it together a little bit faster. And I hope, and I'm going to check with your teachers afterwards, that you guys are into this. No just sitting around looking like this is stupid. No, you're all going to do it. It's going to be fun. Okay. All together?
All together.
Weathering breaks it. Erosion takes it. When the process stops, deposition drops. All these things happen to a rock.
In the picture on the left, you see a beach that has experienced erosion, a destructive force. The dunes are scarped or washed out. Deposition of sand, a constructive force, on the right shows how sand is carried and builds up on the south end of the island. Jekyll Island may only be 7 miles long, but it is a great place to study erosion, weathering, and deposition. The north end is at the top of the picture, and the south end is at the bottom. And those funny little lines in the middle, well, those are the golf courses. Do you see the road that crosses the salt marsh and takes you to Jekyll from Brunswick? That's the causeway. The terms weathering and erosion are different. Our beach sand is weathered rock from hundreds of miles away. The rain and ice broke down the rock over millions of years. Remember the song, Weathering Breaks It. And erosion, by streams and rivers, carried it to our coast. Erosion takes it. Our Georgia sand is mostly quartz minerals from granite rock. You are looking down at the south end of Jekyll Island, near the 4-H Center. How many years did it take for all that land to form from the top picture to the bottom? If you said 30 years, you are right. Pretty cool, creating land. But how does that happen? Well, you need waves. And what causes waves? No, really, think about it. What causes a wave? If you said wind, yay! Wind forces the waves onto the beach, and the waves bounce off and come ashore again further down the beach. And it's not just water that moves, but sand is eroded and carried from one spot and deposited somewhere else. Jekyll is an island surrounded by water. Jekyll's strongest winds come from the northeast, pushing waves and sand to the south. This is called the long-shore current. The deep channel between Jekyll and Cumberland Island is flushed by the strong tide 4 times a day. The sand is held in sandbars and sand spits, moving in and out and building the island. Take a good look at the slide. See where the shoreline was in 1860? That's actually now Beachview Drive. If you would have been on Jekyll Island during the Civil War, this would have been the beach, right at that road. Then you can see the shoreline at 1960 and then 1990. Look at all the sand that's built up, coming from the north end of the island and being deposited on the south. Dunes, built by wind carrying sand, are an excellent example of deposition. The dunes are held together by plants and are a natural wall that helps protect the island. When your sand dunes are gone, you have lots of erosion and your beach disappears.
Today's a pretty windy day, so we're getting a lot of sand being deposited everywhere. So we have a lot of land building up. This old, I don't know, some kind of an old big coast. You can see all the sand is just built up and over it, and it's actually trying to make a sand dune. Miss Beth, such a gorgeous day, it looks like she must have decided to take a nap.
A few moments later.
We left her too long. It was such a short nap. Now she's turned into a sand dune. What? Don't move. We're not supposed to go in the dunes. Remember, they're protected.
So, Miss Donna, is this where the beach access has always been?
Absolutely not. In fact, I'm going to take you back in time to 1989 to show you where the beach was back when I started working for 4-H.
All right, let's go.
All right, right here. In 1989, when you came down to the beach, you crossed your final dune right here, and all of this was beach. No plants, no dunes. And we can even go further back in time if you want.
Let's go.
All right. Now, from what we have found from just a little bit of research and some old pictures, this was actually the beach when I graduated high school, 1974. Right through here was the final line of dunes.
We're kind of far away from the ocean right now, Donna.
Yeah, this would not be where you'd want to throw a blanket down and have a beach party.
Should we keep going back in time?
We can.
Let's go.
I can show you where the beach was in 1957, a year after I was born. Cool spot. Just because you look out over this, it's all cattails. And Maggie, are there cattails in salt water?
No, Miss Donna, I don't think so.
Nope.
I think they grow in fresh water.
Yep, this is called a swale, an area between two dunes that holds fresh water.
Ooh. We're still not back in time, Donna?
Nope. We think the beach was here in the early 70s, late 60s.
This is definitely not a beach, Donna. Are you sure?
No beach now.
Hey, for this big a beach.
Yep. What's that a fabulous example of?
Succession.
And deposition. All this land was formed by sand being moved onto the beach. Now we're going to go back to the early 60s.
All right, let's go.
in 1960, here's where you would have walked into the water. This would have been high tide in 1960.
Wow. So these would have been beachfront.
Yep. The only building is that one right over there with the little cupola on top. That was it was a beach, a beach pavilion. Thank you, Maggie. It was a beach pavilion where you could change clothes and then go out into the ocean. So, wouldn't have been much of a walk. Now it'd be a bit of a walk to change there and go all the way down to the beach. But all of this land has been deposited since 1960, all the way out to the end of the boardwalk.
Now let's take a look at the north end of the island. You guys might know this as Driftwood Beach, but a more appropriate name is actually Boneyard Beach. These trees didn't come in from the ocean. They were actually growing here until there was so much erosion on the beach that they didn't have any soil to grow in anymore. So now they're dead. Do you notice anything else that makes the north end different from the south end? Yeah, rocks called riprap have been added to armor the beach. We'll see in a minute how they compare to a natural sand dune.
Erosion is a natural force. Unfortunately, people can do things that increase it beyond what nature intended. Beaches are the reason tourists come to our area. Our local economy needs nice beaches. Dunes provide homes for wildlife, a place for sea turtles to lay their eggs. They are a natural barrier to slow ocean waves and protect our coast. To avoid losing a beach and to protect an existing beach, there are several things that can be done. One method, used on Tybee Island up near Savannah, is to pump offshore sand onto the beach. This is called beach renourishment. It is expensive, messy, and it does change the slope of the beach. This can lead to increased erosion. Another method of trying to slow erosion is building groins and jetties into the longshore current to catch the moving sand. Sand is deposited in builds on one side, but tends to erode on the other. Jetties often are used to protect harbor entrances. Sometimes you solve one problem, but create another somewhere else.
Let's pretend this golf ball is the power of a wave. Remember, wind causes waves. So when this powerful wave comes in and hits something hard, what do you think happens to it? Will the ball bounce back or will it just stop? Let's see. It really bounced back. So if you take this golf ball, which again is a powerful wave, in fact we'll call it Hurricane Donna, is coming in on our beach. Remember when it hit that hard surface, it bounced back? Well, when things bounce back, they're also scooping out the sand. A seawall, that's what happens. The seawall collapses because it's hitting and going under. But now, let's take that same wave, and Hurricane Donna's going to throw it against a sand dune. What do you think the ball's going to do? Is it going to bounce back? Let's see. One more time. It kind of goes thud. The energy is absorbed by the sand.
Let's see that in slow-mo.
Dunes are prettier, provide habitat, hold sand, and protect the beach. They may be destroyed by a storm, but they will rebuild over time. Look for all of these constructive and destructive forces next time you are at the beach.